Okay, some of those important statements, and we are trying to get more perspective from every facet affected by those changes. These are huge, huge changes in the way that investing climate will really transform here in India. Now, remember, we've spoken about our anchor investor. In the midst of this, one other aspect of it is the rights issue disclosure norms, which is also going to be very important. So we'll try to get more perspective on that front. And again, going back to the mutual fund and the financial intermediaries fees, which is extremely important because that applies to FIs, applies to any other financial services, which is an intermediary, and perhaps even goes ahead and applies to mutual funds. That's a 50% slash in transaction fees being announced by Mr. Bhave right now. I'm going to go across to another mutual fund participant. Waqar Naqvi, CEO at Taurus Mutual Fund, now joins us. Waqar, the statements made by Mr. Bhave on the transaction fees, if we can get to that specifically first, a 50% cut, does that apply to mutual funds as well as FIs?
It does, so it appears as of now, but we would like to wait for the fine print. As of now, it seems it applies to the mutual funds.
So how will it affect your business?
Pardon?
How is it going to affect your business, Waqar?
I don't see it affecting our business because anyway the transaction charges approved for mutual funds were abysmal. So, you reduce it further. Of course, no mutual fund has really gone into any great profits up till now. So I guess the break-even will become that much more longer.
That much more longer, when you say, Waqar, how much could that be? How much does this impact? When you're saying, can you quantify that?
See, it is... now, this transaction fees we are talking of is what is to be paid to the intermediaries. Am I right?
Yes.
Right.
Right. Now, this is something which I personally feel could have waited because we are aware that the penetration of the mutual funds in the Indian economy is not all that great. And still there are a lot of investors who are dependent on financial planners and advisors. As far as this fees is concerned, I'm afraid, I'll take my words back, this won't increase the break-even time for the mutual funds. But this definitely was something which was coming out of the entry loads. So the entry load which was being charged to the investor was paid to the distributor as the commission. I guess if that is reduced, it leaves us neither with a plus nor with a minus. It's just that I believe that the penetration of the mutual funds will take some more time and a longer time to get into remote areas and rural areas and new places because the distributors will get more attracted towards other products other than mutual funds.
But Waqar, that would be counterintuitive because SEBI has said that mutual funds and Indian financial services industry should actually go in and lure the rural investors. They've been complaining about this sub 5% retail participation in the country. And in this sense, this sort of curbing the role or curbing the profitability of the distributor, you believe, is actually counterintuitive.
I would say so because, while it is very good to say that mutual funds should increase penetration, get into the rural areas, what also transpires is that there is a cap on what expenses the mutual funds can charge on the money which is there with them as an AUM. So with a cap there of 1.25% on the higher side for a small fund and which falls to 0.70% of the total money in equity with the mutual funds, there's hardly anything left for the mutual fund to use and go out and spend more because I get the holdings at the same rate at which an insurance company gets, at which a FMCG company gets, where the margins of profit are much higher. So it's easier said than done. I don't think mutual funds are making that kind of money that they can really penetrate and go out and spend in terms of increasing awareness. I think the government needs to spend some money increasing that awareness. Mutual funds don't have that kind of money, however large that mutual fund might be.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Waqar Naqvi there from Taurus Mutual Fund for speaking to us and giving your reactions on that important announcement that has been made. So, tough times, Namita, but really the difficult thing will be now to commit that kind of expense for any of these fund houses and actually go out and market those products and still keep your costs in control.
It's interesting, Ashu, because what Waqar was also